Absolutely love a good press technique, especially a soft press technique, which we're going to see here with the Saints' Kool-Aid McKinstry. The first thing that he's going to do is take a Pier Step to the back foot of the receiver. This is a trend that I've been seeing in defensive back play, talking to a lot of DB trainers, talking to a lot of DBs, especially at the higher levels. One of the things, even though he is outside leverage, he's going to take an outside step. What he's really doing is almost playing kind of that outside shoulder, but he's still going to step to the back foot. And the reason why you do that is because that back foot tells you a lot of information once it comes forward. So you can see here that this back foot actually comes completely forward. A lot of times on these little stutter releases or these juke releases that you see, this back foot will actually never cross the front foot, which tells me he's going to break inside. So there's a lot of data to be gained in these early seconds, these early milliseconds really of the route from a DB. And what you want to do is actually take that outside Pier Step to the back foot. So he's going to do that. He's going to stay square. What I love about this too is that his hands are on the table. Essentially, he doesn't have necessarily a 90-degree bend in his elbow, but he's going to have his wrists at knee level, and watch how they kind of stay there. Now, the one thing that you could probably say right here is like, I don't want to see the hands come back. Notice how the hands kind of come back, but they don't come all the way back. Right? They want to stay right there on top. And so what he does is, again, he takes that Pier Step outside. He's going to bring that back foot back. He's keeping his distance, and watch. Once 14 plants in that ground and takes that step, he's going to hinge open. Notice how he right pulls. He's going to hinge open. What I love here is he's going to stab the pec right here. Offhand jam, boom, right there to the pec. Shock the receiver, keep him at length, and then stay on top. Watch how his eyes transition down. Look at his body posture here. Nobody can say he's not looking down at the hip. Notice how that, he's got a 45-degree angle. If you draw a line through his midpoint, eyes are down on this hip. He's going to stay on top. Notice how he's going to stay in that crossover run. The receiver is clearly running a fade route. And then once he gets here, he has the right and the ownership of that space. That receiver cannot run into him or run through him. That's offensive PI. A lot of times where there's confusion on illegal contact is that the receiver runs into the DB. If a receiver runs into the DB, that and the DB has ownership of that space, that's OPI, that's not DPI, or that's just not going to get called. So he right here gets chest to chest. And what I love this about this is that he's got ownership of the high hip. A lot of times when the quarterback looks and sees in these press alignments that, okay, the receiver has not owned the route. He has not overtaken the route. He has not stacked the DB. I'm going to throw back shoulder. As a DB, you need to understand, if I have ownership of the route and I'm on top, this is going to be a back shoulder fade. And this is exactly what we get here. He's going to get chest to chest. He's going to sit in that low hip, and then he's able to swipe through this. So even though he's falling back right here, he's going to be able to punch back to the ball and then swipe outward, which is exactly what you want. It's just like, I always like bringing in other sports, because a lot of times these DBs are basketball players, or a lot of times now we're getting a lot of baseball players. So everybody knows how to swing a bat, right? So I want to swing this like a bat. The ball is coming in. I want to swing out. I want to hit that thing away from the receiver. I don't want to come down, because if I go down, it's just going to put that right into the receiver's hand. So right here, because he's got ownership on that top route, that receiver cannot get that arm back across, and you can see him swipe across, and essentially the receiver has to make a one-handed grab, and he doesn't do that here. So again, let's go to the top, Pier Step outside. Love the punch of the pec right here. Take ownership of the top of the route, chest to chest, and then swipe the ball up and out, completing the rep. This is a really good example of a soft press by Kool-Aid McKinstry.